Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Let's talk about this. Got a question for you guys. Why do people get defensive? Well, I was thinking about this, and it's easy to see physical aggression as a threat. Fists hurt. Being shoved hurts. Weapons are dangerous. But what about verbal aggression? Why is that perceived as an attack? I'm sure you've heard of the phrase, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And fine, that's a fine sentiment, but do people actually act that way in the real world? No, people act as if words hurt. Even worse, people act as if words hurt more than fists. And this includes nonverbal communication. You want to hurt your spouse? Try ignoring them for a few days. That's what's called stonewalling, and it really messes people up. You want to get people nervous? Just don't make eye contact with them. Or, when you look at them, show no emotion like this. Right? They call that the still face. It really messes people up long term. You want to mess up your kids? Try just giving one child more attention than the others. Oh, better yet, make your kids work for your affection. And maybe only show them love when they're perfect or do what you want them to do. You see, the truth is, you can mess up your kids way worse with words than with fists. The damage is obvious when you get hit. I am the one doing damage to you. The damage that words cause is less obvious. I may be the one saying the words to you that are causing the harm, but I'm not actually the one doing the harming. You're the one doing the harming. That's right. You're the one who's harming yourself. My words cause you to harm yourself. Let me explain. Let's try a really stupid thought experiment. Right? Let me say the worst language on you while you put on noise-canceling headphones. Let me just scream insults at you all day long. What happens? You might be a little disturbed by my face. But what's going to happen to you? Probably not much. Let me say the same thing, but maybe with a casual face. Okay, now you don't even know what my face looks like. Now take off the headphones, and I'll try my best to cut you down, but in a language that you don't understand. What happens? Well, you might pick up on my tone, but the impact won't be much. Okay, now, let me use your language, and I will find the most impactful words of that language to pick at, the most obvious things that I think are defective about you. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. We're causing real damage now. Now, if I'm good enough at it, or should I say evil enough, I might even get you to beat up yourself for weeks. So, hey, what is going on here? Well, words hurt more because our community is essentially our method of survival. And any threat to survival is taken seriously. You see, since there's been human civilization, exile has meant death or extreme hardship. Like it or not, our community is our home, our place of safety, our place of provision, our well-being. And what we fear most is being ostracized from that community. Because without them, we face every hardship alone. And so any perceived reputation damage or slight against you feels like an attack on your social security. And words also hurt because we have this thing called the ego or internal sense of self. And when someone criticizes us or judges us, we treat it almost like we treat an invasion, like a personal invasion. Almost like somebody's climbing into your car and trying to kick you out of the driver's seat. This is understandable because, well, letting others control our perceptions or tell us what to do and what not to do is actually pretty dangerous. Letting someone control you actually threatens your internal locus of control. And there's nothing more emotionally dangerous than losing control of your will and your ego. Trying to navigate life when you've lost the ability to listen to your own emotions and thoughts, that's what crazy feels like. That's actually what crazy feels like. When you stop listening to your own emotions and your own thoughts, and instead you replace those with the thoughts or the emotions of somebody else. Well, what are some of the factors that make words hurtful? Seems like we have a few factors that matter. So let me just detail them real quickly. Number one, I'm thinking maybe it's the strength of and the precision of the language. Stop being a darn dumb head versus stop being a idiot. Right? Maybe number two, how personal the comment is. The more personalized the comment, the more likely it will find purchase on your ego, on your emotions. Number 3, how close is the relationship? How close is this person to you? Well, words from those that we care about or think highly of will matter more because their opinions matter more. Number 4, how about how desensitized you are? The more frequent the same words are used, the less they're going to mean. What's it like to be compared to Hitler nowadays? Pretty basic. Getting called a narcissist these days? Yeah, pretty common. Language follows these same rules of supply and demand. The more common a word is, the less impact it has. Even words like bigot, which I think were impactful maybe a decade ago, now they just mean very little. And maybe that's probably because most people who use that word seems to be bigots themselves. So what should you do about it? Well, how can you make words hurt less? 2 things. Number 1, I would be careful who you're vulnerable to. There's a passage in the Bible that says, "Do not give what is sacred to dogs, nor cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and then turn and tear you to pieces." Well, what is sacred and your pearls? What does that mean? I think that refers to your vulnerability. Don't just give your vulnerability to anyone. Some people are evil, and some people will use it to exploit you. Only be vulnerable to those who have earned that privilege. Easier said than done, sure, but the more you need something from someone, the more you will torture yourself to get it. Be it love or respect or approval or affection, the more vulnerable, the more you're able to be hurt. So choose wisely who you'll be vulnerable to, and keep others at a professional distance until you can really handle the insults, the judgment, and the criticism better. And then you'll be better equipped to handle people who are a little inappropriate. Number 2, when you are fully aware of your flaws and you've taken complete ownership over them, having them pointed out hurts less. In other words, once you've accepted the reality of who you are and you've taken complete ownership of yourself, you can agree with your critics. Comedians are great at this, and they seem to be some of the most emotionally tough people out there because they use their own flaws to their advantage, and they've accepted them. Example, Gabriel Iglesias. He knows he's a little fluffy. Jim Gaffigan, he's very aware of his pasty dad bod. Bill Burr knows he's an asshole, and he'll even tell you. I know I'm not the most muscular guy, and maybe I'd give myself, a 6 out of 10 in attractiveness. I can accept that. If somebody calls me weak or ugly, it doesn't hurt so bad. Why? Because I own my own shit. Your insults are like pointing out problems I've already solved. I know who I am, how far I've come, and what I need to work on way better than you do. So if you don't have anything to add to the conversation, you don't even have a seat at the table. And my hope is that you can say the same thing to yourself. I hope I've helped you become a little bit more emotionally tough today. Love you guys. Take care. I can't do